Now, our next leader does not fear a tough battle. Chris Nassetta became the CEO of Hilton in 2007. Anybody remember 2007? Okay. 2007, during our global economic crisis, and he got to work. His belief that hospitality is a business of people serving people places team members and workplace culture at the absolute center of Hilton's business strategy. During Chris's tenure, Hilton has added 86% more rooms globally and earned more than 100 Great Place to Work recognitions. He's obsessed with taking care of his team members, and we're honored to have him with us today. Can you please help me welcome Chris Nassetta, President and CEO of Hilton. I'll give you this.
Thank you.
Have a seat at the second. All right. I think Cliff is coming back out. Cliff from Fortune magazine is coming back out to be in conversation with Chris. So can we welcome Cliff back to the stage? Is it quick?
Oh, are you sick of me yet?
Welcome back, Cliff.
Welcome back.
Yes.
Welcome back. So, Chris.
Nice job with Valerie. She's phenomenal. Isn't Valerie great?
She's amazing.
Yes.
You know, it's so inspirational when you actually get to meet the people who are the tone at the top now. The people who are making these changes. And Chris, I have to say, you have a very rare distinction. So you're the #1 company on the list 2 years in a row, and the only non-tech company to ever have achieved that. I'm going to guess that that's the Hilton cheering section right there.
No, that is just a broad.
That's
cheering
okay. All right.
We're in a Marriott. I think that's the Marriott cheering section.
It's the Marriott.
Right? Come on, Marriott team.
Woo! All right, here goes. Some co-opetition.
We're a very hospitable industry. We all like
right.
each other. We root for them and they root for us.
So, but one of the interesting things is that, when you started, basically Hilton was bought by a private equity company, and it was a mess.
Indeed it was.
Let me just be honest about this. This was not a good financial picture for the company at the time. They brought you in, and you had to clean some house. You had to restructure the debt. You fired a bunch of middle.
Yeah, when you said, do we remember, somebody said, do you remember 2007?
Yeah.
I was like, I remember 2007.
Brutal.
It was
brutal. But fundamental to what your turnaround plan was having a mission and understanding what was your purpose as a company. And your purpose.
It was indeed. That was the plan. So I remember it distinctly. It's engraved in my brain because those were tough times. But before I do that, I do want to say, first of all, thanks for having me. And to Michael, wherever you are, probably back in the green room, it's fabulous to be here, even though it is at a Marriott. By the way, I used to have an affiliation with this hotel because I ran the company before this. I ran the company that owns this hotel. So
fantastic.
It's a fabulous hotel, but there is nothing that I am more proud of than the opportunity to be here, not because of anything I've done, but because of what our team has done. We have 420, almost 430,000 people in 120 countries around the world that wake up every single day inspired to do great things for our customers and for each other, and that's what a culture is about. It's not about me, it's about them, and so I have the distinction and honor of being here to represent them today. So I want to say thank you to you and Michael. Going back to 2007, I still have PTSD from 2007, so as you can see, I'm trying to avoid it, but it really is a simple story. Like at our scale, which is now double what it was then. We've doubled the size of the company, but it was still a big company then. It was a daunting task. You had a company that, I would say was pretty broken, which is why it got, taken private. You had a world in 2007 that didn't look so bad, but very quickly looked very, very bad. We were part of a private equity buyout with the best partner that we could ever have in Blackstone, but by definition, it was a leveraged buyout. Sure. We had a lot of debt, and you were in the greatest free fall in the history, recorded history of our business, and frankly, in modern history in terms of what the Great Recession ended up playing out as. And so in the middle of all that, it's easy to sort of like lose your way, right?
Yeah.
But we didn't, and I didn't, and our team didn't. And what was clear, and the sort of the underpinning of why I came to the company, was that you had this business in Hilton that is now 100 years old, okay? It was 87 years old. And it really was, many of you in the room wouldn't know it. Yeah, maybe your parents or your grandparents would know it. But it was a business that we pretty much invented everything. Like when you think about like the first airport hotel, okay, where was it? By the way, it was right here in San Francisco. The first airport hotel in the world was at San Francisco Airport. It got torn down to do another runway years ago.
By the way, the first flight delay was here in San Francisco.
Yeah, no problem.
That's right. That's why.
Reservation systems, full service hotel, and I could go on and on and on. But a lot of the business as we now experience it that you take for granted, we invented. And so you have this iconic company, I come in, and that's intimidating. And you have hundreds of thousands of people all over the world that you need to get rallied around the cause. What ended up making it easy, it was hard to execute against, but what ended up making it easy is something that many people also would not know, which is 100 years ago, this really cool guy named Conrad Hilton that had pretty much invented the business as we know it, started the business in a little town with a noble premise. If you go back and read contemporary writings and letters, he thought that he could make the world a better place. His words were he wanted to fill the earth with the light and warmth of hospitality. What he meant by that, if you go back and read his writings at the time, and he wrote books and the like, was that he thought he could make the world a better place by creating safe places for people to go to experience the world, different cultures, cultural exchange. Cultural exchange would lead to better understanding and a better world. That was sort of the premise of why we were founded. And so for 50 years, more than a half a century, that propelled this incredible company that invented all these things and was a pioneer, all over the world. We were the first, hotel company to go to Africa, to go to Asia. I mean, all the things you take for granted today. But guess what? Like a lot of companies that get to 80, 90, 100 years old, we sort of lost our groove, right? You're at the top of the heap. You sort of lose sight of why you're here. And so when I got here, it was clear you had a lot of people with a lot of passion to want to do great stuff that just wasn't being channeled. They didn't know sort of what our purpose was. And I'm going to say, I said this to Michael, and he was like, what? We talk about greenwashing a lot, right? Like everybody's saying, like, I'm going to save the world, and like this, like I'm doing all this environmental stuff because, it's popular. I use that in a different way, purpose washing.
Yeah.
Right? I think every business now, every ad you see on TV, if you came from Mars and landed in the United States or anywhere and watched TV, you'd say, oh my God, every company is saving the world. This is the greatest place on earth. Yeah. But guess what? They're not. And so for me, everything is about authenticity, both as a person. Yeah. Those who know me, I think, would say to a fault I'm authentic, probably to a fault, but that any purpose, sort of anything you're going to ground your business in has to be real. It has to be something that, it has to be something that you can rally people around. And that's what we did. I went back to the roots of the company and said, hey team, look at this. We invented this thing. We've made a huge difference in the world. I demonstrated in real ways the way we did it. And I said, let's reclaim our rightful spot in history. Let's build an incredible culture. And I made a promise to our team 13 years ago. And the promise was, I am going to make this, with your help, the best, most inclusive culture on earth. Not the best in hospitality, the hotel business, the best on earth. And so when I sit here on this stage, I guess we're number 2 in the world, number 1 in the United States. Again, it's not about me. That is a demonstration that we're doing that we're living up to that promise. And that promise is hard. I say the concept of how we did it is really easy. But you're talking about hundreds of thousands of people in 120 countries and trying to rally them around a common purpose, trying to make sure you're doing the right things to invest in them. It's crazy complex to execute against. But we've done it, and we've been grinding and grinding and grinding. Like our teams that are here that work on this stuff will tell you it's a game of inches. And in the end, sort of in my colloquial way, and I say it to our teams, I had town halls with our teams here this morning before I came over here, it's a family, and we treat our team like their family, and if we treat them like family, guess how they're going to treat you as a customer when you walk through the doors? While you're with us, you become part of our family. And I know that sounds sort of corny, but that's actually how I think about it. It's like, treat them like family, they'll treat our customers like family, and when you walk into a Hilton, if we do it right, it feels different at a Hilton. You want to come back.
So, and it was quite a valuable family. I just want to put this in context. So for Blackstone, which took you private in this LBO, this leveraged buyout, and when they exited in 2018, they profited. They made $14 billion.
I think it was $16 billion, but who's counting?
Well, in any case,
but
from my understanding, it was the most valuable private equity deal in history.
I was hired by them to help them. A lot of their investors are pensioners and and the like, so they have an awesome responsibility to those people. But yes, they did really, really well. By the way, we went public. Our shareholders have done really, really well. If you go back to 2008 and 9 and read the headlines about Hilton, what you would read is, in fact, one of them in the journal was Blackstone's black eye. I don't know what bad stuff Fortune wrote about us. But I'm sure you guys wrote some nasty stuff, but I mean, it was going to be the greatest private equity loss of all time.
So
but here's the thing that we're proving, in a grossly simplistic way. You can do well by doing good.
Exactly.
Right?
That was my context.
Every time I talk to our teams, and I don't even have to because these people are so crazy inspired to do good, the do well comes along with it. I'll never forget one of my meetings at Blackstone. We used to do when we were owned by them, we would do like an annual portfolio review. And not always, but occasionally that would be with like Steve Schwarzman himself and Tony James, the guys that run it, who I know quite well, obviously got to know quite well. And they were looking at, we had gotten through the recession and, we were sort of back in business, although we had a lot of debt and all this. And they were asking, like, how are you doing it? Like Steve said, like, this is like magic. What, like, how did you make it? How did you survive? And how are you now outperforming all your competitors when you had all this debt that we straddled you with? How did you do it? And the true story, and he would tell you this if you asked him, I said, culture. I said it was all about motivating and inspiring hundreds of thousands of people. And I said, Steve, you're not going to like this. Mm-hmm. I looked him in the eye. He remembers this. And I said, they don't care about making you money. Yeah. They care about doing good things. They care about doing good things for our customers. They care about doing good things in their communities. Importantly, they care about doing good things for each other. And all I'm doing is giving them a framework to be able to feel good about it and to feel part of something bigger. And by doing good, I promise you we will do well. And he said, I trust you. Keep going, but I hope it works.
Well, it worked out.
And $16 billion, it ended up working out.
Not bad at all. So, but part of that, as you said, it's a game of inches. And I want to talk about those inches, if we can.
Sure.
Little things that you do. Like, one of them is this program that you've got for all Hilton family members, all of your team, to be able to, say, stay in any of your Hilton hotels, as guests. And when I was talking about that was this sort of idea of it's a front door culture. You don't have a back door where workers come in through the back door. That's not the philosophy, is to have everybody come in through the front door.
Yeah, well, I mean, here's a simple, again, I like to distill things into very simple pieces because I think it works better. We're in the business of hospitality. We're in the business of experiences, right? That's what we do, and we do it really well, and we hope to do it even better, and people stay loyal to us. Our team members are essential. They are the most critical element of that, and showing that hospitality, delivering those experiences. It stands to reason we need to do the same thing for them. And if we show them that same type of hospitality, if we make their experience with us, with their family that they spend so much time with in these hotels, a good experience, by definition, they're going to show better hospitality to our customers. And it really is that simple. Like we call it Go Hilton, our team member travel program. There wasn't a place, I mean, you think about it, you get people work hard. Like this hotel business thing, it's hard duty. Like think about
it's a nice message
like
to
unlike
send.
a lot of other businesses where, you know, you go 9 to 5, 8 to 6, and we're a factory that opens and closes. The day you open a hotel, it never closes. It's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, forever. Until it gets torn down, which could be 100 years later.
It's like Denny's.
Yeah,
Yeah. So,
and so people work like crazy hard. So, and then they provide this hospitality. So Go Hilton was all about, like, everywhere I went in the world, people were like, I mean, we had a program, and the truth is, you know, this is the team that made it come together. I mean, it was just a terrible program. It was like
well,
I used to say, if
team
the
that made it
moons
come
and the
together
stars align and Venus is in, you know, descending, you could get a room in Poughkeepsie, you know, for a night. I mean, there was, you know, literally there was, it just was not a program that was all paper oriented. And so I said, guys, we need to show our team the hospitality. They bust their you-know-whats every day. They kill themselves. We're in the travel business. We're in the business of experiences. How about showing them experiences? And when they show up, like we should treat them and tell our teams like they're one of our most valuable customers. We treat our diamond, you know, honors members so well. Treat our team members like they're the most valued customers that we have, and give them, make things available, make it available at an affordable price for all. You know, the reality is, you know, we do it. We, you know, it's not just about managers. I want, in fact, at the Hilton, the San Francisco Hilton, where we have a very large team, I asked the whole team how many people have used it and are going on vacation. Almost every hand in the room went up at all levels of the organization. It's like they are really fired up because that's the way we should treat them. There are other things like uniforms. Like
I want to talk about that because, you know,
that's a funny.
Your uniform story,
Yeah, I told it. I think it got written about last year when we got first place. But I was literally in Cleveland. We were opening a big new convention hotel next to the convention center. And I went out, you know, the week before. Opening hotels, particularly big hotels like this, is really, as our team knows, is really crazy hard work. I mean, it's you know, people working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they just are killing it. And I went out, and they were so proud to, you know, be opening in a week. And I spent the night, you know, because they said, like, try it out. And I tasted some of the food in the restaurants. And then they took me into the big ballroom where they were handing out uniforms. Like, and they were very proud, you know, and I was trying them on. And I was putting on these uniforms, and it was like a flak jacket. You know, I was like, we have housekeepers, you know, bellmen. We have engineering who are doing hard jobs that require a lot of movement. And they're wearing these, you know, these uniforms that really are not flexible, that are very heavy, that don't breathe. And I'm thinking, we live in a world where you have all of these performance fabrics and the, you know, whether it's Nike or Under Armour, all these folks do this. And I got in the car and I called Matt Schuyler, who's somewhere here, and I said, I got a great idea. This is crazy. We need to call Under Armour. We ended up doing a deal. We need to do this. Like, we should reimagine all of, I mean, it sounds so stupid, but it's like nobody else was doing it. It's like we need to reimagine how we think about uniforms across all levels of the organization to make it a better experience. And we did it. You know, it wasn't, you know, like any of these things, it wasn't easy, but we did it and we rolled it out. And I was asking the team this morning as I saw them proudly wearing their Under Armour, and they loved it. It makes their life easier. So it is a game of inches. It's little. It's like somebody has asked me, like, gosh, how did you do it 2 years in a row? Like, nobody does that. But we were the only hospitality company ever to be number one on the list. It's generally been tech companies. And so everybody says, how did you do it? I said, you know, first of all, I'm not going to tell you because, you know.
Right, of course not.
Why would I tell you? I mean, it's competitive, you know, but I would because I'm a transparent guy. I said, it's not one thing.
Right.
If it was one thing, it's what I started with. It all starts with purpose, real purpose, authentic purpose, something that matters. But then the granularity of figuring out if you're going to make a promise. Like, here's the thing. My mother, God bless, she's still alive, 88 years old. You know, you make a promise, you keep it.
Yeah.
My promise to our team is I'll never stop. Like I said to Michael when we met, and he was telling me, you're number one again, and this is awesome. I said, you know, I love it, but I don't want anybody on my team to, like, get complacent. Like, because we are so far from done on building the kind of culture I want. And so we will keep grinding on lots of little things.
So as you mentioned, Conrad Hilton and this vision of being a company in the world and connecting the world and sort of changing the world by making these great connections. You now have 400,000 people around the world or something like that working with you.
450 almost.
450, wow.
440.
And of course, right now we're in a situation where there is a potentially pandemic virus around the world. That obviously, it's affecting travel, it's affecting airlines. You obviously have to run a company and be conscious of those safety issues, not just for the people who stay in their guests in your companies, but
Our
your
team.
team. Yeah.
Yeah, well, the first obligation we have is to our team because, as I said, we can't do a very good job taking care of our guests if we don't have a team.
Right.
So we always take that as the first priority. Take safety and security of our team. And here's the thing. We had a board meeting yesterday, and we spent a lot of time on this topic, as you would guess, because this thing is, the contours of this are sort of unknown. It's evolving at a very rapid pace. And I said to our board, I said, it's sort of good and bad, but we're sort of battle tested in the sense that because of the nature of the business, because of the breadth of the business, because of our geographic dispersion, we are in the middle of every bad thing that goes on in the world, right? Whether it's the Arab Spring, tsunamis, fires, like SARS, bird flu, like we've done all this because we're everywhere.
Right.
And so, that, as I said, that's good and bad. I'm not proud of that, but we have very good policies, procedure, and sadly experience. And so, I'm really proud of our teams. This is something that, I think a week ago I thought one thing, I think today I think another, and my guess is I'll think something different a week from now. But we are, our teams are working tirelessly to keep, take care of each other and take care of our guests. And so far, we've done a great job. We have no team member that has had any issue. We have served some guests around the world that have, ironically, not just in Asia, but because people leaving Asia. We've had it in Hawaii, Mexico, and a bunch of different places. All of those guests have been cared for, starting with our team and then local authorities, and all of them have recovered. And so, we can only do it, again, bit by bit, day by day. We have people that know what they're doing. We have a very sophisticated approach to it, and we're working awfully hard to take care of everybody.
So, do you want to give us a New England Patriots moment? Are you going to three-peat here? Are we going to see?
I was saying to Michael, trifecta really sounded good.
Trifecta. I like trifecta.
I again, for me, I hope so. But
what will you do?
Of course, I hope so. But it's not about. I love us being number one on the list because I think it's an opportunity for me to celebrate our team. And I love that opportunity. I love the fact that I'm here with you because it means so much to our team. People wear this pin that we have incredibly proudly all over the country and all over the world. But to me, what's more important is what we do. Again, I'm into substance. I'm an authentic guy. The list is great. Michael, if you're listening, I love it. And we definitely want to three-peat. What's more important is what we do. What's more important is when I go into the back of house like I did this morning with hundreds of our team members that are busting their you-know-what and working so hard for us. Like, what can we do to make your life easier? What can we do to make your life better so that you do a better job, so that you can live a better life, not just here with us, but when you go home? Because the happier they are, the more fulfilled they are, the more they feel like they're part of something, the more they feel like they're part of our family, they are going to do a better job for our customers. We're going to deliver better experiences, and we're going to make the world a little bit better place. And that's all it is, game inches. Like, bit by bit, we want to make the world in our own way a little bit better place.
All right, we're going to leave it at that. Chris Nassetta, thank you very much.
Thanks.
That's great. Oh, thanks.